Welcome to Workstyle Stories, because life changes and every life is different. I'm joined this week by Ali. Hello, Ali. And we're going to be talking about how your work style can fit around your life, and in particular your physical health. And before we get into all of that, Ali, would you mind just telling us who you are, where you are, and what you do?
Absolutely. Hi, I'm Alison Lawrence. I live in Epping in the UK, and I run my own marketing business from home and have done since 2019.
Prior to that, so let's go back your kind of career history of typical work. Just talk to me about what your kind of typical work was like before you kind of changed it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think since about 2011, I'd been basically working in advertising agencies, creative agencies and publishers as a digital project manager for hire. So would work in do a sort of 5 days a week, 9 to 5, but generally 8 till 6 plus,
How did you find that?
It was tough. I think because I'd been commuting into London for work since my sort of late teens, so you had that, and then I think it just I think everybody just finds it really sort of tiring and sometimes a little bit maybe dehumanizing, that sort of thing, and then just so that was tough, but generally it was easier when I was enjoying what I was working and who I was working for, the project I was working on. But it was still tough doing that. Sometimes 3 hours of commuting a day. And then I think also what was important was I realised that there's things that I'm doing on a day-to-day basis for my job that don't sit well with my personal values, things like fairness, honesty, all those sort of things, and lots of other things that that didn't sit well with me. So I think that plus the commuting, I think all sort of came to a head. And then I think on top of that, because I'd been had a chronic illness, which I'd been diagnosed back in my 20s, but then basically more recently had become more chronic, and then it seemed like a really good time to make a change.
What change did you make?
So the change I made was basically, so I was working a contract at an agency. I decided to say, right, okay, that's it. I'm going to stop working as a freelance project manager for hire. I already had my limited business, so I thought, great, I can. And I thought, right, okay, I'm going to take away the commute. I'm going to reshape my business so it's basically I have my own clients, and then that meant that I could choose. It was really important that I could then choose who I worked with, so that I found people who had the same sort of mindset and shared the same sort of personal values. I could decide so who I worked for, the work that I picked up. Stuff, and it had to be stuff that I felt passionate about and I thought I really enjoyed and I was good at, and I felt that I could offer something to them. I could decide how I did that work, how it was delivered, and then when, so the times that I would be able to work or wanted to work, be that only 3 weeks out of 4 months. So those are the things. I know that's what it was going to be. So that's basically what I did in sort of spring of 2019.
So that moment, what you're describing there, for me is really at the centre of work style. It's taking control over who you work with, where you work, when you work, being the person who determines that rather than having it determined for you and being told you need to be somewhere and work a certain time. And that's the big thing I think that everyone who takes on work style has to do at some point, is sort of stop being told and start telling and taking accountability for that. And so you obviously had a catalyst for doing that. And presumably that means that you are able to work more around your illness and the things that you might need to do, appointments and that sort of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that was one of the big considerations. I mean, I think 2019 was a big sort of watershed for me, because I'd started having conversations with my renal team, and then started talking about, let's get you prepped to be added to the transplant list. Let's get you organised for starting, home dialysis and things like that. So I thought, because of my background in project management, I'm just super organised. So I thought, well, let's plan ahead. And, I could foresee that it's going to be like, well, I know that I'm going to have, as you mentioned, appointments, to have to go to. And so it was practical that I could be at home and then go to those and work my life around those. And all those sort of things, and also my energy levels, I knew were going to go down. So I thought, well, I can get up in the morning, work when I've got the energy, and if I want to go into the bedroom and have 3 hours sleep, I can. Work around that. But also just from the point of view that it was good for my emotional health, because it was less stress. Because you know what it's like, even with the most understanding manager in an agency, they're not going to take too kindly to you taking half a day off every few weeks for an appointment. But if you're your own boss, then you manage that and you work around it.
And how do you find that? I mean, do you find it quite? Is it okay to manage that, the expectations of the people you're working with?
Yeah, I think it's all down to being very honest. And one of the things that I've always struggled with, and I think a lot of people do, is we always want to be people pleasers and be available for your clients and things like that. But actually, I've learned it's much better for everybody, me included, for that you just manage people's expectations. So you say, really clear on when you work, when you're available, and then you make sure that you stick to that, and don't work out those times. And then when you pick up new clients, you make them aware that for me, I'm on the kidney transplant list, which means I could easily get a call now to say, Alison, we've got a kidney for you, and I'd have to go. So I make sure my clients are aware of that. And then if they're not happy with that, but if I'm honest with them up front, and let them know, they've all been very accepting. But if I come across a new client who isn't happy with that, and that's fine. I mean, we just won't work together, because it doesn't suit both of us.
I mean, it sounds like you're handling it brilliantly, and congratulations for taking the step to take accountability for your work style and to set it, to project it, to make people aware. I guess in much the same way as that lanyard you're wearing. So tell me about that.
Well, this is obviously we've all sort of lockdown is sort of easing, and obviously yesterday, first April was a big day for me, because I came out of shielding, which I've been doing for the last nearly a year or so, because of being a vulnerable person. And this is just basically something which does two things, really. It sort of shows my support for the numerous, kidney charities that we have around in the UK and around the world. This particular one is from the National Kidney Federation. And it's just really so, even though we're out of lockdown, there's a lot of people who are still very vulnerable. And, I want to just make sure people that please just still social distance, and this is why I'm wearing a mask and that sort of thing. It's just like a comfort factor for us, just to remind people that there are people who are vulnerable. So just, sort of, rather than having to sort of shout, hey, I'm social distancing.
It's great. And it's a great way of doing it. And, similarly, great that you've got the same ability to tell people about how you're working. And, if we all communicate with each other and find ways to communicate better with each other, then we can work better together, accommodate one another's individual lives and preferences, and generally all be happy and more productive as a result. So, Ali, thank you. Quite right. Listen, it's been an absolute pleasure. We've run out of time. We've been Workstyle Stories. Thank you, Ali Lawrence. We'll see you all next time. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye.